NBC News is reporting that the White House has come up with a new strategy recently to deal with the age issue amidst poll numbers in our NBC News poll showing 2/3 of voters have concerns about the president's age, something he obviously can't do anything about. Making self-deprecating jokes, though, about it to try to defuse the issue. A new NBC News analysis shows that Biden has been cracking jokes about his age more often than usual.
By the way, I've been doing this a long time. I know I don't look that old, I know. I'm a little under 103. I know I look like I'm only still 29, but think about it. I know I'm 198 years old. After all, I believe in the First Amendment. Not just because my good friend Jimmy Madison wrote it. You say I'm ancient. I say I'm wise. You say I'm over the hill. Don Lemon would say that's a man in his prime.
The new NBC News poll shows 68% of all voters say that they are concerned about President Biden having the necessary mental and physical health to do the job. And that includes 55% with major concerns. Those numbers have grown since the 2020 campaign. Donald Trump is only 3 years younger than Joe Biden, but voters seem to be less worried about Trump's age. Only 55% call that a major or moderate concern. Joe Biden is now 80 years old, and if reelected, he would be the oldest president in American history, turning 86 by the end of a second term, a position he is not shying away from. Joining me now is NBC News chief White House correspondent and Weekend Today co-anchor Kristen Welker, former Republican Congressman David Jolly, and Jim Messina, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations under President Obama. He also ran Obama's reelection campaign. So, Kristen, many of those moments that we just heard were not scripted remarks. What's the strategy here?
Well, Andrea, this is a new strategy by the president, I am told, to own the fact and the reality that, yes, if he is reelected, he will be the oldest president to serve. And, of course, that reporting comes from our Carol Lee and Mike Memoli, who noted that he is increasingly making these types of jokes, really trying to downplay the age issue. I spoke to a Democratic source who's close with the White House and really pressed this person on those poll numbers, the fact that there seems to be increasing concern about his fitness for office. The response from this person was, look at the results. Look at the fact that he won in 2020, the fact that Democrats had a strong showing in the midterms. And they say that is an indication of the fact that they believe these polls are not indicative of what we can expect from voters at the polls. I mean, when they actually go to vote. But the question becomes, Andrea, is there a growing concern about some of these gaps? For example, today, he seemed to confuse Iraq with Ukraine. I spoke to a White House official about that who really downplayed that. They said, look, presidents spend a lot of time talking, and so there are going to be moments when they confuse words. This has happened to every president in modern history. And so really trying to downplay those moments, but there's no doubt that those moments will be under heavy scrutiny. But again, the president's strategy for countering all of that is to try to downplay it through these very light-hearted moments. We'll have to see how effective that is. Of course, he's just touched down in Chicago, where he's going to put the focus on his economic policies, and the White House say that's really what they want to be focusing on, his policies, what he plans to do with the second term, Andrea.